That innocent scroll you just did? It required enough electricity to power a village in the developing world for a day. Your latest streaming binge? It generated carbon emissions equivalent to driving a car for miles. Every search, every like, every upload, they all come with hidden environmental costs that most of us never see. Welcome to TechEthica, where we explore the complex relationship between technology and ethics. The cloud sounds weightless and immaterial, a perfect metaphor for how we perceive our digital lives. But the reality is far more concrete and resource-intensive. Our digital existence is powered by massive physical infrastructure spanning continents and oceans. In 2025, the internet will consume more electricity than the entire United Kingdom. And as our digital appetites grow exponentially, so does this environmental footprint, often in ways invisible to the average user. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden environmental impact of our digital world and exploring how the very technology creating these problems might also offer innovative solutions. When you stream a video, your request travels through a vast physical network of cables, routers, and servers before the data makes its journey back to your device. This happens at incredible speed, creating the illusion of immateriality. But the infrastructure behind it is anything but invisible. The Internet's physical backbone includes over 400 submarine cables stretching more than 1.3 million kilometers across the ocean floors, enough to circle the Earth 32 times. These cables connect to thousands of data centers, massive industrial facilities filled with energy-hungry servers that store and process our digital information. Data centers are the factories of the digital age. They're packed with servers that generate enormous heat, requiring sophisticated cooling systems that consume additional energy. A single hyperscale data center can use as much electricity as 80,000 households, equivalent to a small city. Interestingly, many digital activities actually consume less energy than their physical counterparts. Reading news online typically uses less energy than producing and distributing a printed newspaper. Video conferencing often has a lower carbon footprint than traveling for meetings. But the sheer scale and growth of our digital consumption is staggering. Humanity now creates more data in a single hour than existed in total just 20 years ago. By 2025, we'll generate 463 exabytes of data daily. That's 463 followed by 18 zeros. And storing, processing, and transmitting all this data requires energy, lots of it. Let's break down where all this energy goes. Data centers consume about 1 to 2% of global electricity, comparable to the aviation industry's fuel consumption. Telecommunications networks that transmit data add another 1 to 1.5%. And our devices, from smartphones to smart TVs, account for roughly 2 to 3%. Combined, that's approximately 5 to 7% of global electricity use. Not all digital activities are created equal in their environmental impact. Streaming high-definition video is particularly energy-intensive, especially on larger screens. 1 hour of 4K video streaming consumes roughly the same energy as running a modern refrigerator for 12 hours. A video call uses about twice the energy of an audio call. Even a simple email with an attachment has a carbon footprint equivalent to driving a car 200 meters. Some digital technologies are extraordinarily energy-hungry. Cryptocurrency networks that use proof-of-work validation can consume as much electricity as entire nations. A single Bitcoin transaction in 2025 uses roughly the same energy as an average US household does in 2 weeks, enough to power 100,000 credit card transactions. Training large artificial intelligence models represents another energy-intensive frontier. Creating a single advanced AI model can generate as much carbon as 5 cars produce over their entire lifetimes. The computational demands of AI are doubling every 3.4 months, far outpacing Moore's Law. The good news is that many tech companies are making significant investments in renewable energy. Major cloud providers like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon have committed to powering their operations with 100% carbon-free energy, though the timeline and implementation vary significantly. The challenge is that data centers need constant, reliable power, while renewable sources like solar and wind are intermittent. This has led to innovations in energy storage, smart grid technologies, and advanced power management systems to balance supply and demand, technologies that benefit the broader energy transition. The environmental impact of our digital lives isn't just about energy consumption. Manufacturing our devices requires extracting and processing dozens of materials, from common metals to rare earth elements. A single smartphone contains over 60 different elements, nearly half the periodic table. Mining these materials often causes significant environmental damage, including deforestation, water pollution, and habitat destruction. Rare earth mining, in particular, generates radioactive waste and toxic byproducts, and some critical minerals come from regions with limited environmental regulations or oversight. The average smartphone emits about 80 kilograms of CO2 before it's even turned on for the first time. That's roughly equivalent to driving 500 kilometers in an average car. This embodied carbon means that manufacturing accounts for 80 to 90% of a smartphone's lifetime environmental impact. Then there's the growing crisis of electronic waste. Humans generate over 50 million metric tons of e-waste annually, equivalent to throwing away 1,000 laptops every second, and less than 20% is formally recycled. The rest ends up in landfills or informal recycling operations that expose workers and communities to toxic substances like lead, mercury, and flame retardants. Our devices are also being replaced more frequently than ever before. The average smartphone is used for just 2 to 3 years before being replaced, far shorter than its potential technical lifespan of 4 to 7 years. This rapid replacement cycle, driven by both planned obsolescence and consumer desire for the latest features, multiplies the manufacturing impact. The environmental challenges of our digital world are significant, but technology itself offers many potential solutions. The same innovative spirit that created these problems is now being directed towards solving them. Innovative cooling technologies are dramatically reducing energy consumption in data centers. Some facilities now use outside air for cooling when possible, while others employ liquid immersion cooling that is 1,500 times more efficient than air cooling. Some data centers in Nordic countries use the cold climate as natural refrigeration, while others are being built underwater to leverage the ocean's cooling properties. Circular economy principles are being applied to digital infrastructure. Server components are being designed for easier repair, reuse, and recycling, extending their useful life and reducing waste. Companies like Fairphone are pioneering modular smartphones where individual components can be replaced rather than discarding the entire device. Edge computing, processing data closer to where it's created rather than sending it to distant data centers, can significantly reduce energy used for data transmission. This approach is becoming more common as IoT devices proliferate, with some estimates suggesting energy savings of up to 30% compared to traditional cloud computing. Individual choices matter too. Simple actions like reducing video streaming quality, using dark mode on OLED screens, unsubscribing from unnecessary emails, and keeping devices longer can significantly reduce your digital carbon footprint. Collectively, these small changes could reduce the internet's carbon footprint by millions of tons annually. Let's consider 3 possible futures for our digital environmental impact. In the efficiency revolution scenario, technological innovations dramatically reduce digital technology's energy and resource intensity. AI-optimized data centers operate at near-perfect efficiency. Quantum computing reduces energy needs for complex calculations by 99%, and advanced recycling technologies recover 95% of materials from e-waste, effectively decoupling digital growth from environmental impact. In the digital sobriety scenario, society becomes more conscious of digital consumption. People embrace digital minimalism, prioritizing meaningful online activities while reducing digital clutter and unnecessary data creation. Tech companies shift from growth at all costs to sustainable business models, and regulations require transparency about environmental impacts, allowing consumers to make informed choices. In the regenerative computing scenario, digital infrastructure is redesigned to have a net positive environmental impact. Data centers double as district heating for communities. Waste heat from servers warms greenhouses for food production. E-waste becomes a primary source of rare minerals rather than mining, and digital technologies accelerate environmental restoration through advanced monitoring and optimization. Our digital lives have real-world environmental impacts, but they don't have to be negative. Through conscious choices, innovative technologies, and systemic changes, we can build a digital world that treads more lightly on our planet and perhaps even helps regenerate it. The key is making these impacts visible, recognizing that our online actions have offline consequences, and using that awareness to drive positive change. Technology itself is neither inherently destructive nor sustainable. How we design, use, and govern it determines its impact. What do you think? What steps will you take to reduce your digital carbon footprint? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Next time on TechEthica, we'll explore how our concept of privacy is evolving in the digital age, and what's at stake when we trade our personal data for convenience. Subscribe to join us on this journey exploring the ethical dimensions of technology. Thanks for watching.